Yeah. So, like I said, for the student, the map is laid out. Your learning number systems. Here is lesson 1. Here is a collection on introduction to integers. Here is a quiz, and so on and so forth. For the student, the map is laid out. Their current location is established, right? And they're continuously in real time updating. What does the student know? Because I know the latitude and longitude for learning. So that's the first thing we established. We built out this complete matrix which said, what should you be learning at every fine grade, right? It's not at a subject level or course level or a domain, standard, micro-standard. We went all the way down and we said, what should you be learning, right? And now we could relate everything and we could show the student the data about that. So this code here corresponds to that, the point location, and this kind of explains what that point is. And this shows all the resources that have been tied to that point, right? So for the student, we know precisely what do they know and what else should they be learning. So now what we are developing, this kind of all going to be available in February and June of 2017, is kind of, a complete maps-like experience, right? You say, hey, I want to learn science. Here are all the science materials, science courses that you can learn, right? We'll put that on the map and you can look around, right? Because we have implemented the zoom capability. Then, here's the fundamental difference. Every course today is constructed as a one-dimensional object. You go from unit after unit after unit and you study it that way. What we learned was a course is a two-dimensional object, right? You go in a sequence, but every time you get stuck, you want to go back. I don't want to go back and repeat. If I'm in 9th grade in that example, I don't want to go back and repeat all of 8th grade. But if I just didn't know logarithms when I'm studying chemistry in 9th grade, then I just need to know what is logarithms. I don't need to go back and study 8th grade science for that, right? So we constructed the course saying, hey, you're studying physics, and the top part of the title is flipped. But you're studying physics. This is the linear path that you're going through. But there are concepts. When you're studying motion and stability, you don't understand some concepts in the past. And you're able to kind of go back, learn that much, and come back. So that way for the student, it is like, here is the highway to go to the airport. But if you get stuck along the way, here are small detours that you can take. Go do this stuff and then come back to the highway, right? So this is kind of the experience. Now at any point, when the student is here, they can click on any one of these bubbles and they'll see all the details about this, whatever that bubble is about. Depending on the zoom level, it could be about a course, it could be about a unit or a lesson or an assessment. But it will tell you what is the learning path for this stuff, some information about the material, some content metadata and community metadata, and the actions you can take. You can test yourself, add to goals, start studying, or add to backpack kind of stuff. And like I said, once you start studying a particular subject, then it tells you how well you know everything that is dependent on this, right? So if I'm studying matter and interactions, so I'm ready to study physics, then these yellow stars are the ones that I need to cover in physics. But I know that matter and interactions, I have reasonable mastery over every dependent stuff. But when it comes to motion and stability, I really don't know these three things. So I can't go ahead and study this part of motion and stability before I go back and update myself with some of these, right? So that's the idea, is that you're always studying, and it's a 2D version, right? You're going down the path, but at every point we know what is dependent on that, whether you have that skill or not, and we can support you with that. So this is being built as a complete mobile experience. So it's a single screen. This is the main screen. So this kind of comes when you tap that. This kind of comes when you tap that. But the idea is that the main screen is what you're studying. This is your path. But at every point you can kind of look at how you're doing and do you need to kind of go and revise something to come back on the path if you get an assessment wrong. So you're able to kind of navigate yourself this way to get to this destination. And here the focus is on community. It's always about interacting with people, right? It's not just about consume content. When you have a problem here, you know, it says, okay, you can, you have a problem in mechanics, you can chat with Isaac Newton, right? So, you know, why not? So the whole idea is that you can kind of constantly interact with your friends in your classroom or with the experts in the community, which could be teachers or tutors and so on, and kind of support your learning. So this, again, we're building it as a complete mobile first experience so that every student, so today, I'll just go back here to point out, so this version of the product is available now, where it's a student learning experience, but we have not kind of implemented a lot of these map features yet. We kind of focused on building the roads and building all the tools for the teachers and stuff like that. And so now this new version is coming out. So I kind of want to mention, so to recap, we are a technology non-profit. We are a non-profit organization, which means we are not a business and we do things for charity, right? But we are focused on just doing technology. That's all we do. Everything else, we partner with schools like Leadership Public Schools, universities like National University, or research institutions like Johns Hopkins and so on. So we bring in partners for everything else, right? For example, if Guru needs to be used and distributed in Europe, we work with It's Learning, right? Or even in the US, we work with It's Learning in the US now, and we kind of are hoping that we can get Guru in all the European languages and make it work for all of you. So again, our focus is very clear. We just do the technology and the product part of it. Everything else, we partner. And because we have a very clear simple social objective that we want to honor the human right to education, this kind of allows us to kind of achieve that. So thank you very much, and I've enjoyed talking to all of you, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to kind of take questions after or depending upon the time.
Are there any questions to Prasad Ram?
How do you manage to do all that without funding?
So these are all the grantors. Glad you asked that question. So we have been very fortunate. So when I left Google, Google said, after they saw the prototype and all this stuff, they said, hey, we want to do this as a Google product. I said, no, this has to be done as a non-profit because we have to work with universities, educators. We have to build that whole team. It's not a pure technology play, right? So then after 6 months, it took me 6 months of going back and forth and arguing why this has to be done outside Google. Then Google wrote me a big check and said, okay, go do it, but don't lose momentum, right? Since then, we have had Gates Foundation, Hewlett Foundation, more recently National University, a whole bunch of other people. We have a fairly long list of donors who have said, yes, because it's open, it's free, we raise a lot of grant money for that. Wonderful. So we'll wrap it up here, and I'm going to be around. If you have any other questions later, please feel free to reach out. Yeah.
Could I, as a teacher, just go in and start using it?
Yes. It's, like I said, it's free and open. You can.
What do you do if you wanted to go in now? And
Go to guru.org and you can use it. That's it. Right? And there's no No requirement, there's no other stuff. Now, the advantage when we integrate with its learning is it now knows all of your schools and rosters and class and all of that information. Right? So it becomes easier for you to use it when you access it through its learning. But any teacher, so this is the beautiful thing is teachers are using it, that's how we have all this road network and all of that stuff. Except that when we integrate with a product like its learning, the advantage we have, or the teacher has, is now it's fully aware of all of her class, all of her, its learning or SkoleIntratræf and so on. It is fully aware of all of the rest of the things that they do, that you would do in a learning management system or student information system, in the case of SkoleIntratræf. So that's kind of the approach that we have taken. Sounds good? Thank you all very much again.
Yeah, thank you for a very inspiring talk and for giving us your perspective on this. Og tak til jer for den